July 20, 1969. Millions of people around the world were staring at their television screens. For the very first time in history, humans were about to step onto another world. As the lunar module slowly descended toward the moon's surface, one small mistake could have ended the mission forever. But just moments later, history was made. This is the incredible true story of Apollo 11, the mission that changed humanity forever, the space race. During the 1960s, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in an intense competition known as the space race. Both countries wanted to prove they had the most advanced technology. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy announced an ambitious goal. Before this decade is out, America will land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. It was one of the boldest promises in American history. Thousands of scientists, engineers, and astronauts worked together to make that dream a reality. After years of testing, failures, and determination, NASA was finally ready. The mission was called Apollo 11. On July 16, 1969, thousands of people gathered near Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Millions more watched live on television across the world. Standing on the launch pad was the mighty Saturn V rocket, the most powerful rocket ever built at that time. Inside were three brave astronauts: Neil Armstrong, the mission commander; Buzz Aldrin, the lunar module pilot; and Michael Collins, who would remain in orbit around the moon. At exactly 9:32 a.m. the engines roared to life. The ground shook violently. A massive cloud of fire and smoke surrounded the rocket. Slowly, the Saturn V lifted into the sky. Humanity's greatest journey had begun. For the next 3 days, Apollo 11 traveled through the silent darkness of space. The astronauts checked every system carefully. There was no room for mistakes. One small error could cost all three men their lives. Landing on the moon. On July 20, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin entered the lunar module, known as Eagle. Michael Collins remained alone inside the command module, orbiting the moon. As Eagle descended toward the lunar surface, alarms suddenly sounded inside the spacecraft. The onboard computer was overloaded. Fuel was running dangerously low. Mission Control held its breath. Neil Armstrong took manual control of the spacecraft. He carefully searched for a safe place to land. With only about 20 seconds of fuel remaining, Eagle gently touched the moon. Then came the famous words, "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." Cheers erupted inside Mission Control. After years of hard work, America had reached the moon. Several hours after landing, Neil Armstrong carefully climbed down the ladder of the Eagle lunar module. Millions of people around the world watched live on television. Then, with one careful step, he became the first human being to walk on the moon. He spoke the words that would be remembered forever. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. A few minutes later, Buzz Aldrin joined him on the lunar surface. Together, they conducted scientific experiments, collected moon rocks, and planted the American flag. They spent about 2.5 hours exploring the moon before returning to the lunar module. The journey home. After completing their mission, the Eagle lifted off from the moon and docked with the command module, where Michael Collins had been waiting alone in lunar orbit. The three astronauts then began their long journey back to Earth. On July 24, 1969, Apollo 11 safely splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. Recovery teams quickly rescued the astronauts. The mission was a complete success. President Richard Nixon welcomed them as national heroes. The Apollo 11 mission proved that determination, science, and teamwork could achieve what once seemed impossible. Even today, more than 50 years later, the moon landing continues to inspire millions of people around the world. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more amazing stories from American history. This is USA History World. See you in the next documentary.